Hello and welcome back to our unit on simplifying expressions. Today we are going to be simplifying polynomials, which are a combination of terms, which are letters, and variables, which are letters, and numbers like coefficients and constants. And we are going to learn how to add and subtract these polynomials. All right, so let's get started on the do now. The do now says, simplify the following expressions by combining like terms. If you remember anything about combining like terms, that means we have to have the same letter and the same exponent. All right, so here I have an 8x squared. I also have a negative 13x squared and a 10x squared. So let's do it. 8 minus 13 plus 10. That gives me 5x squared. Good. Then I have 3x minus 25x minus x. When I don't see a number, there's an imaginary 1. So this would be 3 minus 25 minus 1, which gives us negative 23x. Perfect. And that is fully simplified because there's no like terms left over. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, I have this 20, then this negative 3, and this 10. Those are all like terms because they're all just plain numbers, which we call constants. 20 minus 3 plus 10, that gets me 27. Okay, then I have this 3xy. I don't have any other 3xy, so any other xy, so I'm just going to write 3xy. And then I have 4y squared minus 2y squared, which 4 minus 2 is 2. So 2y squared. I'm going to put these in order. Usually you put the thing with the highest exponent first, then you put any letters you have, and then any plain numbers. And we call this standard form, which we are going to learn about. That looks good. The original answer I gave you guys was a correct answer, but it's most common to have the biggest exponent first, then variables, and then any plain numbers. Okay. So let's get into this lesson. What are the important parts of a polynomial? Our first most important part is a leading coefficient. When a polynomial is written in standard form, that is when a polynomial is written with the biggest exponent first and then the smallest exponent. The number in front of the biggest exponent, the variable with the biggest exponent, that is your leading coefficient. Then your degree of your polynomial, that is the highest exponent. Here our degree would be 3 because 3 is the highest exponent we see. And the constant is the term that has no variable. So again, you start by writing a polynomial in standard form. Standard form means the biggest exponent is going to come first, and then it decreases until you have no exponent. Okay, then your leading coefficient is when the polynomial is written in standard form. It is the coefficient of the first term, the coefficient in front of the variable with the biggest exponent. Then the degree of the polynomial is the largest exponent, and the constant is whatever has no variable. All right, let's look at different type of polynomials. The word polynomial means, poly means multiple, and nomial means part, so we have multiple parts. Now, you could call any type of expression, which means no equal sign, a polynomial. But there are different names for polynomials. When you just have one term, that's called a monomial. It's just mono. Mono means one. Then when you have two terms, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. When you have two, that's called a binomial because bi means two. And then when you have three things, that is called a trinomial. Nice, nice. All right. Now, standard form, I know I already spoke about this a little bit. Standard form is, a polynomial is written in standard form if the term with the largest exponent comes first, and all the exponents, the exponents decrease in value, and then all like terms are combined. So you shouldn't see any of the same exponents, any variable with the same exponent. All right, so here I have 6x to the 8th, minus 7x squared, minus 5x, plus 8. That is in standard form because I don't have any like terms. I don't have any of the same exponent. And we start with an exponent of 8, 2, then 1, and then our constant. That's good. Now the next one is not a like term because look, I have 7 in standard form. Because I have 7x squared and then I have 6x to the 8th. That's no good because I need the biggest exponent to come first. And this next one is not in standard form because these two terms are like terms. They both have the same exponent, and they are not combined. All right, so let's look at this regions question. An expression of the fifth degree. Okay, fifth degree means my highest exponent is going to be 5. Is written with a leading coefficient of 7. That means the number in front of the x to the fifth is going to be 7. Because leading coefficient means your highest exponent, which is whatever the degree is, and here the degree is 5. The leading coefficient would come in front of that. And a constant of 6 means I'm going to have a plus 6. My only number I'm going to have, the number alone is going to be a 6. Well, the only one I see that for is choice 4, which does have the 7x to the fifth. And that is written in standard form, so we are good. All right, let's look at this one. Students were asked to write 6x to the fifth plus 8x minus 3x to the third plus 7x squared plus 7x to the seventh power in standard form. Shown below are 4 students' responses. Okay, and they want to know which one is in standard form. Well, the biggest exponent has to come first, so I'm going to need 7x to the seventh to come first. And the only person who has that is Anne. Because Anne is correct, because she will go 7, 5, 3, and then the exponent of 1. So Anne is good. Alrighty, let's look at this next one. Let's look at our directions now. We are going to learn how to add polynomials. We add polynomials by removing parentheses. How you remove parentheses is by multiplying whatever's on the outside. Then we identify the like terms and we combine them. Remember, when you add like terms, you're not doing anything with the base or the exponent. You're only adding the coefficients. And then we make sure to write our answer in standard form. All right, let's add this together. I have x squared and 7x squared. Okay, well, in front of this x squared is a 1, and 1 plus 7 is 8x squared. And then I have a 5x to the third and 3x to the third. Well, 5 plus 3 is 8 again, x to the third. Now, this is not written in standard form because my biggest exponent, which is 3, needs to come first, and then my 8x squared. Very good. All right. I didn't show you guys how you would remove the parentheses. I kind of skipped a step, but basically, in front of both these parentheses, you don't see anything. So that means there's an imaginary 1. If you multiplied 1 by both of these, it would stay the same. So you'd just be left with x squared plus 5x to the third plus 7x squared plus 3x to the third. And then you can start combining, which we did. All right, let's look at this next one. Josh has this much money in his account, and he deposits this much. Deposit means to put in. How much money does he have now? This means we are going to add these two things together. So I'm going to be doing 7a squared minus 3b plus 4 plus the negative 6a squared minus 5b. All right, let's look for our like terms. I have 7a squared and negative 6a squared. 7 minus 6 is 1a squared. Okay, then I have negative 3b minus 5b. Well, negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8b. And then the only constant I have is this plus 4. And that is in standard form. Nice job. Alrighty, individual practice. Let's look at these two. Pause the video and try this question on your own. Alright, in front of this parenthesis is a 1. If I multiply, it would stay the same. So just 3 plus b to the fourth. Instead of this is technically a 1. If I multiply, it will all stay the same. It's important to remember what's in front of it and multiply it, because when we get to subtracting, that is what we are going to have to do. All right, for constants, I have 3 and a 7, and that's all. So that would be 10. Then I have a b to the fourth and a b to the fourth. That's 1b to the fourth plus 2 plus another b to the fourth, which gives me 2b to the fourth. And then I have my 2b, which is my 2b. Now, in standard form, my biggest exponent is this b to the fourth. Then I have the 2b. And then lastly, I put my constant, which is 10. Good job. Let's look at this next question. The length of a side is this, and the width is this. What is the perimeter? Ooh, we have to remember perimeter formula. Perimeter formula is 2 times length plus 2 times w. All right, so 2, my length is 7y squared minus 3y plus 4. And my width also needs to be multiplied by 2 is 8y squared plus 3y minus 9. All right, let's get to multiplying. 2 times 7y squared is 14y squared. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6y. And 2 times 4 is 8. Then 2 times 8y squared is 16y squared. 2 times 3y is 6y. And 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. Now let's get into it. 14y squared plus 16y squared is 14 plus 16. That gives me 30y squared. Then negative 6y plus 6y. Ooh, that would actually equal 0, so we could get rid of those. And then positive 8 minus 18 gives us a negative 10. Perfect. Alrighty. Now we are going to learn about subtracting polynomials. When subtracting polynomials, we are going to keep the first polynomial and then multiply the negative 1 to the second polynomial, and then we'll be ready to add the terms together. So let's look at this. In front of this first set of parentheses is a positive 1. If I multiply it by both, I will just have 4n to the fourth plus 6. Nothing changes. But in this second one, I have the negative in front. Attached to that negative is a negative 1. When we multiply by negative 1, the signs of each thing changes. Negative 1 times positive 4n is negative 4n. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And negative 1 times negative 4n squared is positive 1n. I meant to say n to the fourth. N to the fourth. Good. All right. Here we have a 4n to the fourth plus 1n to the fourth. That's 5n to the fourth. Then I'm going to go to my next variable I have, which is the negative 4n. And then I'll take care of constants. Lastly, that way I'm already written in standard form. 6 plus 1 is 7. Perfect. That is our final answer. Now let's look at this one. Ooh, this is a very important word, subtracted from. Subtracted from means you're going to take the second thing, 5x squared minus 2x plus 7, and subtract the whole first thing, which is 3x squared plus 6x minus 4. And make sure you put both of them in parentheses. All right, in front of the first thing is just 1. You could keep that same. So 5x squared minus 2x plus 7. And now in front of the next one, we have a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 1 times 6x is negative 6x. And negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. And now let's combine like terms. 5x squared minus 3x squared is 2x squared. Negative 2x minus 6x is negative 8x. And 7 plus 4 is 11. And we are done. Now, individual practice, I'm going to want you to pause and try these questions on your own. All right, let's look at this one. We have a 1 in front of this. So 1 times 9x squared is 9x squared. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Okay, now in front of the next polynomial, I have negative 1 times 4x squared, which is negative 4x squared. And negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. All right, let's combine like terms. 9x squared minus 4x squared is 5x squared. And negative 5. Oh, there's no like term for that, but let me put that in the end. And there's also no like term for the negative 4x. So this is our complete polynomial. Alrighty, let's look at this. What must be subtracted from this to get this? Okay, so they're basically saying that you had this answer. You had 7 plus 4m plus 8m to the fourth, and we subtracted something, and by subtracting that something, we ended up getting 5m to the fourth plus 1 plus 6m. Okay, so what we can do is we could end up just subtracting those two, and I think that should get us the answer. Let's see if this works. 7 plus 4m plus 8m to the fourth minus the 5m to the fourth plus 1 plus 6m. All right. The first one could stay the same. 7 plus 4m plus 8m to the fourth. And now let's distribute the negative. Negative times 5m to the fourth is negative 5m to the fourth. Negative times 1 is negative 1. And negative times 6m is negative 6m. All right, we end up getting, let's go in exponent order. 8m to the fourth minus 5m to the fourth is 3m to the fourth. Then 4 minus 6 is negative 2m. And then 7 minus 1 is 6. Alrighty, let's see if this would work for the problem that they're asking us. Alright, let's put this in here. We got 3m to the fourth minus 2m plus 6. Let's see if this makes sense. If we do 8m to the fourth minus 3m, would we get 5m to the fourth? Yes, we would. If we do 4m minus negative 2m, would we get 6m? Yes, because 4 minus negative 2 means 4 plus 2, which does get us 6. And then 7 minus 6, we would get 1. All right, good job. All right, let's look at some challenges here. Let's look at the first one. In first of the first parentheses is a 1, because I don't see anything, so there's an imaginary 1. When you distribute, that will all stay the same. Now, negative 2 times 3x squared is negative 6x squared. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10x. And negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. All right, now 7x squared minus 6x squared is 1x squared. Negative 8x plus 10x is 2x. And 2 plus 12 is 14. Good job. Now let's look at the next one. There's a 1 in front of this. 1 times 2p is 2p. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times p is 5p. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Now there's a negative 1 in front of this. Negative 1 times p is negative 1p. And negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. I was about to box in my answer, but that is not in standard form because I didn't combine like terms. 2p plus 5p is 7p, minus 1p is 6p. And then 4 minus 5 is negative 1, minus 7 is negative 8. Good job. And that sums up our lesson on how to add and subtract polynomials. Good job.